Short video of Sho Baraka talking about, and if you don't know who Sho Baraka is, you may be a little young, but Sho Baraka was one of the founding members. He was the original artist
pioneers
of Rich Records. Yeah. So he wrote down, the video is actually pretty funny too. So he wrote down 10 things that would make CHH better. And I got this, they wrote it down on Rapzilla, so I took the list from them. But it's the actual list what he said. So I'm going to go from 10. You want me to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Let's go 10 to 1.
All right, 10. He said if you're black, for every CCM tour, like Winter Jam and all those, you owe shows at Baptist Church, Kojic churches, or just one Church of God a show. So basically, you got to go to that black. You need to go to the black.
Only reason I didn't understand that, right? Because I almost felt like when I first heard him say that, if you do a show at CCM, I thought he was going to say you got to represent a certain way. You know what I mean? Like,
what he's basically saying is like you showing so much love to. You're showing so much love to our white brothers and sisters, but you're overlooking your black audience.
But you also got to realize too, like that's a bigger platform than a certain audience. So if an artist does agree to do Winter Jam,
it's basically like if this was mainstream, if you pop in the mainstream, you still got to come back to the hood. Basically, that's what he was saying.
Okay, so the biggest issue there is the amount of money that people charge as artists these days.
But you still can do stuff. You can still
do it.
You can still go to a church and say, "Hey, I'm doing a free concert at this church," and you talk to the people there. Let me show them my merch. Let me sell merch outside, and that's how y'all pay me.
Now, the interesting thing about it is there's not that many artists that get invited to these larger CCM platforms and things.
But when he's talking about the ones who's getting that opportunity, make sure you don't forget about the people that you know of and you look it over. Well, anyway, okay. All right, so that was number 10. Number 9 was read books.
Read books, yeah.
Number 8 was go to church. That should be self-explanatory, but I think we do have a lot of rebel Christian rappers that are not tied to a church home.
So let's go back through them real quick. So number 9, do you think he meant read books, meaning like know your theology, know your topics?
I think as a rapper, your vocabulary gets better when you have more words to play with. So I think reading books helps you with that. Go to church, meaning like be inside some fellowship, like have some fellowship with people, you know what I'm saying, so that people in the church can vouch for you and stuff like that.
It feels to me like he may have made a top 10, but he didn't rank them in any specific order.
He did. He went from 1 to 10.
No, I know, but I'm saying like in his mind of importance, because I would think church would be closer to the bottom.
It was. That's what I'm saying. With number 1, we're going from 10 to 1.
Yeah, but you just said church was number 8.
It was. On the when he said 8, go to church, making sure.
I'm thinking that's closer to the bottom though. Like number 1, number 2, like top reason you need to. CHH needs help.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
All right. So number 7, let the genre grow with the audience. Meaning, like he was saying, basically, like you should be maturing with your audience. You shouldn't still be older and rapping younger. You should be at a certain point growing with your audience. You shouldn't be like that.
To me, that feels like he's saying let the audience embrace the younger guys. Embrace the younger guys, and if they're making music that a younger audience is down with, you step out of the way.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel about it?
No, he basically saying grow with your audience. Basically, like as somebody, if I was making music since the 2000s, I shouldn't still be trying to make the music that I made when I was younger. I should be growing as an artist. Versus
so grow with the. So for me, I would have picked grow with the genre in that situation, because the audience almost feels like keep making music for your for the people that listen to you. That's what I got from it.
Well, let the genre grow. Let the genre grow with the audience. Meaning, like if the audience is, if I listened to you when you were 20 something and I was 20 something and I'm 40 something now, you should be making music for me. Basically, you shouldn't still be making music for like younger people.
Because that's who your fan base is going to be ultimately.
Yeah, but I feel like
you can still make that type of music, but your goal should be like, how does my music sound older and mature? I guess.
Okay, let's just put it out there. I matured with Lecrae. right?
Yeah.
I feel like Lecrae is still making music for me, and he's making music for 17-year-olds, right?
Yeah, but I think at the same time, do you grow? Is that growth?
Lecrae?
I'm not saying Lecrae. I'm just saying using that method, like at a certain age. Okay,
It's keeping us hot. It's keeping it hot.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I use Nas for example. Nas is, I mean, he still has the same kind of beats, but you could tell the maturity of who he is at the age he is now versus when he dropped, like, you know, It Is Written or I Am or whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel like Nas is a bad example to use in the situation of our genre. Like, Lecrae is still making music for all of us, right?
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go. Before the record deal, get counseling. That was number 6.
I agree with that.
Number 5, have close community in person. Let people correct you in person. That's number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, get off socials and shut your mouth. I kind of agree with that. Everybody don't need to be talking. Basically, that's what he was saying. Number 3, stop worrying about the mainstream. I like that one. I ain't gonna front.
Mm-hmm.
I think we focus too much on mainstream approval when if you dope, I think they should come to you versus you running to them and stuff like that.
Do we know how to keep ourselves from doing that, right? Because I think that might be something that Trackstarz also has dealt with, right? Like
what?
Like not knowing if you're doing something that is going to attract the mainstream or if you're doing it for your own audience. You know what I mean? Like for us, we've never tried to. We've always said we just want to be able to reach as many people as the Lord will allow, right? So for us, it's like we're not doing a show.
Trying to worry about the mainstream, meaning like mainstream media, worry about like
exactly
like trying to. If I'm an artist, I'm worried about like I should be. I'm not grateful, but I'm trying to get on Sway or I'm trying to get on the Breakfast Club. But if I don't get on those, I'm like, yo, I'm missing the mark versus like trying to get on our show or Ruslan's show or Crew or whoever. Like your focus is trying to reach the mainstream when they're not even worried about you. And normally how it works is those people look at you when you are at the total opposite of like when you're hot, when people like, yo, y'all know this about this kid? Yeah. This kid, he's coming up. I've seen him. He's dope. Let's get him on the show. That's what normally what Sway would normally do, or somebody tells Sway like, "Yo, you need to have such and such on the show."
Yeah, I would say in my mind, like it's funny how you can list out a list, and people take it a different way. Because in my mind, I'm thinking for like I'm in my mind when I said Trackstarz, I'm like, we don't make a show that's gonna we don't make our show to try to attract Revolt's attention. We make our show so that it can be about what we want it to be about. You know what I'm saying? And so if we happen to make, like Sean's got us going crazy with the graphics and the studio setup and everything like that. So if we're making something of great content and they happen to see it and they now want to pull it out, it's like, oh wow, so you want to be able to showcase us on a platform where we can reach more people, which has been our goal the entire time, right? Yeah. So not about getting rich and famous, but being able to say, okay, we're using our platform to make sure that we reach those who need the gospel. So in my mind, I'm thinking the same thing when I hear that conversation. I'm like, well, don't we want Derek Minor and Cannon and all those folks and to get these placements on ESPN so that the music can be heard? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he's not talking about that, bro. He's talking about your focus. I think because when placements is a little different than I'm trying to get mainstream's attention. That's two different things. A placement is like I could send music to whoever. Doesn't mean that, you know what I mean, that we just highlight that these people get placements on these, but the average person don't know. They just hear the song and be like, okay, versus, yo, I got to get on the Breakfast Club. Yo, I got to get on such and such. And like your focus is that.
Gotcha.
And you're worried about that. Instead of letting them look at like, yo, I need to find that person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say, in that situation, they definitely need to not.
You're very combative about this whole situation.
I'm trying to make conversation around what I don't understand. You're setting me up, straightening me out. But what I'm saying is, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, in this conversation, I would want an artist to, you know, be naturally themselves. Yeah. And not necessarily worried about whether or not they're their self-worth is in jeopardy if they don't get on The Breakfast Club or if they don't get on Sway. Like, don't discredit what God is doing in your life or with your ministry to the point where you're like, but if I don't make it on there, this is all for naught. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see artists worry about.
No, that's true. All right, number 2, learn English, like metaphors, motifs, double entendres, like English, not like learning the techniques of English.
See, when I first read that, I was like, is he talking about mumble rap? But okay, I got you.
No, bro.
I got
He's just talking about like
I'm just telling you
the mechanics of rapping.
Yeah.
And using different things.
Yeah.
And the number one thing, which I agree with, bring Jesus back in the music.
Of course.
That was the number one. He started off the whole thing. He went 1 to 10. We went 10 to 1. But number one was, the first thing was bring Jesus back.
So, okay, that's a good question too. I feel like you could say that, but you're also looking at it like there's Jesus being talked about in a song, but it's just not the theology that he was on.
No, I don't think so. I think we're in a place where that if I was new to this, I don't know if people are going as hard for Jesus as they once was.
Okay. No, I would.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, I just think that the genre has gotten so saturated.
Yeah.
That people are making music of all kinds of ways, like all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
And they're calling themselves Christians, which is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Christian actors aren't just acting in Christian movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like it goes the same way. I feel like for us, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a Bible sitting out on our table, but it doesn't mean that we're not living a lifestyle that's pleasing to Christ, or that we're trying to, live a life as believers. And so, to me, it's like, well, we're still a Christian show because we're sitting at the table and we confess Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. So, to me, that's what I think it comes down to. I think it comes down to, I sent somebody a Big Breeze Scooty Wop video, and I'm like, just knowing the imagery, listen to the lyrics, right? Because the hook was, they're talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
But you see the video and they got cars and, they swerving and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, I feel like that's just a changing of the guard and a new age of where we are with music.
But I just think it's not that. It's because even when 116 was out, different people were doing different types of Christian hip hop. So it's not that. Mm-hmm. It's just that the focus of late hasn't really been about, this is Jesus. Right. It should be about impacting people's souls. It shouldn't be about getting people to a concert so they can see me. It should be about, we should get people to this concert because they need to hear about what God is, who God is, and different. Now, there's some artists out there doing that, but then there's some artists out there that's not doing that at all. So, and there's some artists, and like I said, I don't knock nobody for not doing what they do.
Yeah.
But you should remember, if you're getting into this space, remember that the purpose of you getting in this space is that you want to use your gifts to glorify God. You want to use your gifts to glorify God with your gift, and then also give people Jesus Christ, who changed your life, so you want them to change. That's why you're giving your gift.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, everybody has, entitled to their opinions. I'm sure they'll keep it going in the chats. Yeah. We can always reach out to Show Baraka and maybe get his opinion on it, go a little deeper with him.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get back into some more music. You're in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let go. Yeah, back in